Okay, that's really loud.
Yes.
Frederick. And then can I, sorry, Luke, and then do I just drop this down somewhere?
You're gonna go to PowerPoint.
Okay, so what do I do?
Yeah, you can minimize that now.
No, my mom was a
Right there.
numb until they discovered something
And then
spelled
slideshow.
wrong, changed her name to Pop Mint.
The,
Okay.
Start.
But
from
mouse is having a.
Sometimes names.
It is the way.
Because I do see your name.
And then
Is my sister.
Michelle,
She's a physiotherapist. Yes. Oh, okay, she's very nice.
no, she's very chatty.
Oh, okay.
Welcome to Michelle, welcome.
Okay, so this is what we'll see, right?
Well, you'll see the video there in the
Oh, there
short
it is.
box there.
Yeah. See
It
me
might
smiling.
catch your elbow.
That's okay. I'm good. Just
You're good with the whole, like,
good with the elbow.
see, there you go, right there.
Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Thanks for your patience, everybody. This is my first time doing this.
So for those of you who are here and for anyone who listens in afterwards, I appreciate anybody just even taking the time to hear what I have to say. My name is Michelle Ewens. I am a local girl. I have been a small business owner myself, so I understand the struggles of what can happen. And when COVID hit, the company that I had partnered with for my business, and I had a separating of ways due for many reasons. And I chose to start looking for some other work and came across Moneris. And I'm extremely happy that I did. Fantastic company in so many ways, not only for what they do for small businesses, but just for the work environment that I'm in. It's fantastic. I've never seen anything like it before. Anyhow, Moneris is the leading payment processor here in Canada. We actually are the only Canadian-owned company for payment processing. There are companies that are Canadian-based, but Moneris is the only Canadian-owned. So we are owned by RBC and BMO Bank, for anybody who wasn't aware of that. Sorry, let's pause.
Yay, Canada.
Yay, Canada, exactly. So this is really different.
I know it's.
What do I need
Just
to do?
use your regular mouse click.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Yay.
So there's a little disclaimer, just so in case I say anything inaccurate, or
We won't hold you to it.
I'm hoping I don't, so we're all good. So basically what we're going to talk about today is just these 5 key points, basically, or 6, sorry, it is 6. So understanding your processing fees, the different kind of transaction types, and then what's the difference between simplified pricing and flat rate pricing, and how you can really save in that. Also, owning versus leasing your payment devices, what the difference is for that, and then how to improve your profitability, and then questions that you should be asking any payment processor company before you sign up with them.
Oh, smart.
So to understand payment processing, you kind of have to understand the different fees that are involved with it. So the first one that you need to understand is the interchange fee. So the interchange fee basically is a fee that's charged from the credit card company themselves, that being Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discover, Union Pay. All of those have their own interchange fee that they charge every company, regardless of the company. If they offer flat rate pricing or simplified pricing, it's still the same fee. And what can change those fees is the MCC code, which is the merchant conversion code. So basically, that code is what every company is labeled with. So if you're in the food industry, you have one code. If you're a barber, you have a different code. All of those codes have different interchange fees as well.
Wow.
And all of those fees are then what's added to every payment company. I can't say that enough because people don't understand that. Then there's another fee, it's called the assessment fee. And this just goes on to talk a little bit more about what I was just saying, transaction type. And also, yes, I forgot, the chip, the swipe, any of those have different rates as well. And then, as I was talking about, your merchant category code, it's your MCC. And then the type of card too. So your basic card, lower fee.
Right.
And then your benefit cards, your corporate cards, all of those have higher fees. So basically, interchange fees are anywhere from 0.5% up to 2% is what you will find. So that seems to be about the rate. On average, I'd say I see a majority of them are about 1.5, 1.6, somewhere in there for the
So every time a company offers like, oh, just tap here, or swipe here, or it's another choice, so it's another fee or another.
Yeah, the rates can go higher, and something else
Right.
that can affect interchange fees is the type of solution that you're processing it too. So a lot of people will buy a device, get a handheld device, and someone will call into the store and they'll just key in the card amount, but your rate just went right through the roof because it's not a proper solution to be processing that kind of payment in. So when people talk about my transaction rates are through the roof because of COVID, well, that would probably be why that they were up so high.
Wow.
That's one good reason why. Now, just in the last few days, you see the government of Canada is now going after credit card companies to lower their rates. So we'll see what happens there, but that's one possibility.
Thank you.
So the network assessment fee is the fee that's charged from the financial institution that issued that card. So if it was RBC or Capital One or anything like that, those are the people who charge the assessment fee. Those fees are much, much less than compared to your interchange fee. These ones are usually like 0.09, 0.08, like it's very minimal in comparison to the interchange fee that's getting charged. So don't blame your bank when it's going through the roof. It's not the bank, it's credit card. And then there's what we call the Moneris transaction fee. So we have what's called simplified pricing at Moneris. So we charge our fee on top of that. And our fees range depending on what company is, who it is, how much you're processing. And we'll get into that a little bit more. Other people charge flat rate pricing, and we'll talk about that a little bit too, and what the difference is and how that looks. So then transaction types. This is what really matters. So card present with the chip and your PIN and contactless tap. Those are good ways. They keep your rates really down. Swiping and manual entry, this is what we were talking about before. Those are what will raise your rates quite a bit. So you want to have them, you want to have a device that's quick and fast and up to date to kind of avoid those issues for moving forward for your own transactional rates for yourself. And the right solution.
I like that wording, the right solution.
Because
makes sense.
It really is. If you are, let's say, like a dentist, you're face to face most of the time, you're just going to tap the card, they're going to take the payment that way. But if you are an electrician or you are farm sales, anything like that, you want to explore with your company that you're dealing with, what options are available for you, what kind of solutions do they have, and what kind of features are in those solutions that are going to help you lower your rates for what you're doing. So card not present, this is kind of what I was getting at with the farmers and the electricians. So you want online with proper fraud protection. So 3DS Secure is one feature, and there's different, Moneris offers a bunch of different features, count, you can get involved, recurring papers and payments and tokenization. There's all these different features that you want to investigate a little bit further and check and see if they fit your company. And over the phone orders is kind of what I was just saying. The mail order and telephone orders that you take in and you punch in your card are very high risk and very costly to you personally.
What would be the best solution to for an online or over the phone rather than punching in?
Yeah, so there is like, I can't speak for other companies,
right,
for sure, but I can speak for Moneris. And I know we have, for someone like a retail solution, we have this device, it's called the Moneris Go. So that device is in hand. You can take it anywhere with you. It's 4G, Wi-Fi, capabilities. So you can take it anywhere with you. However, if someone were to call into your store and needed to take payment, that product actually pairs with what's called the Moneris Go portal. So it's web-based. You'd be able to go to your computer, your phone, anything, open that up and plug the information in that way. And it's already got the tools, the fraud protection
right,
already embedded. So it's gonna keep your rate the same as what you're paying, even if you were doing it here. And then if you are totally online and virtual and only take payments, you never see your client, like a contractor or, you know, a lot of business to business sales. We have a product called the virtual terminal, the gateway to virtual terminal.
Okay,
And it is absolutely web-based and you can set it up when you want. And that's good to gyms. Anything that takes like monthly payments from your clients or anything like that reoccurring. Anything that's not face-to-face or you want to debit, those are kinds of solutions that you want to get into rather than punching it in. Like I hear regularly, I just had a guy last week, karate club,
Right.
and he's been punching in his payments for years and not realizing. He goes, oh, it's really time consuming to keep punching in the card every month to take their payment. Well, yeah, for sure, and not to mention your rates, right?
right.
So getting in the right solution and asking the right questions, not just taking whatever's looking good on the website or what some flashy little salesperson tells you is a good idea. You want to make sure you're getting the right thing for what you're doing. So we're going to talk a little bit about flat rate versus simplified pricing. So flat rate, it's great for single rate transactions. It really helps you monitor what's going on. Like, you know, if you got a $10 sale, they're going to take 3.4%. You know that that's what your costs are. So it's good that way. It's consistent, clear billing. It makes people want to go to it sometimes because it's like, oh, this is just much easier. I can understand what's going on. However, if you're processing more than $3,000, it's not beneficial to you in the long run. And we'll get into that a bit more too. So basically, you can't see the fees that are being processed because they aren't supplied to you in the invoicing most times. So they're not showing you what the card actually cost to process at that time. And per transaction costs are higher. Usually it's about 3.4%. Is what the going rate seems to be right now. And then with that, there's usually an added monetary amount too, meaning that sometimes it's like 50 cents, sometimes I find now it's about 30 cents. So you're paying 3.4 plus 30 cents. And then if you have a large volume, it's not very profitable for that. And it's not competitive. And usually in those situations like Stripe, Square, PayPal, it's non-negotiable as well. So if you are having, you know, you're doing higher and higher volumes, but you're still paying 3.4, and the guy who's got less than $3,000 sales in a month, still paying 3.4, you're covering his costs basically is what's happening. So this is flat rate pricing. If you were to do a $100 sale with a flat rate pricing, it would be $3.40 that comes off of your sale. And the business, you would end up with $96.60. Actually, it would be $96.30 because there's a 30-cent charge off that as well. So that's that's a big hit to what your cost and you either have to add that in. And there's been a lot of talk lately about the credit card surcharge that's supposed to come. So it was approved back in the fall, just so to add that surcharge to your businesses if you choose. And it's still not implemented by a lot of card companies at this time. And the reason for that is because the actual credit card users are not really favorable for it. So, and there's a lot involved in getting the software ready to do that. So you may not see that even being offered till the fall or the beginning of next year, where you can pass those costs off to your client if you choose to do that. And I don't know if they'll have that option. So these are the fees. And you have simplified pricing. So it's a lower average rate per transaction. There's clear fee disclosure. So what happens is when you sign your agreement, you're going to get a copy of all the fees that are issued at that time. You can also go to with Moneris, you can go to our website and pull up any fees for credit card companies to see what they are to make sure that you're being processed properly. You can negotiate your rates a little bit better with a company that uses simplified pricing. So, and there is rewards for card present and card not present transactions, just we were talking about the different rates for that. And it's really great for anybody who is processing over 3,000. Your billing can be more complex, absolutely. It's a little bit harder to read sometimes because it's going to list every card that uses that transaction fee. So if you had 10 MasterCards, it's going to say 10 MasterCards at 1.4, and then 20 MasterCards at 1.6, however that is. But believe me, it's worth the time to have that do it and give it to your accountant because it really will save you money. The issuer rate can change in card mix, everything, all of those kinds of things impact it a little bit. But in this situation, the pros really do outweigh the cons for simplified pricing. So this is kind of more of a breakdown for you of how it works. So for simplified pricing, there's a total processing cost for a transaction is $1.91 on a $100 transaction based on what we've got here. So you're getting $98.09 this time rather than $96.30. So your savings, there's what is it, $1, $2 for the same thing. My math is terrible today. Spend $1, so about $1.50, $1.70, $1.79, I think. Anyhow, the interchange rate that we use here is 1.42, which is pretty average, and the 0.09 for the assessment fee, and then Moneris has got our fee set at 0.40. So, and that's a pretty decent rate. You can get 0.3, 0.25, depending. You can really negotiate it quite a bit. And then there's the difference too, and I didn't put it in these slides, but the difference between flat rate pricing and simplified pricing when it comes to interchange and Interact as well is much different. Flat rate pricing companies like Square and Stripe charge 10 cents per transaction for Interact, whereas Moneris it would be about 5 cents. So it's half the price for Interact too. So take that in consideration, especially if you are just a cash only business. Some people will get a device and just use it for Interact, and that's a big difference in your costs as well. So then there's different types of devices. This one here that's on the screen, this is the Moneris Go Plus. It's our newest device. Should you own it or should you lease it? So owning the only thing I find that is beneficial for owning your device is that you know your upfront costs, you're going to pay it out. But there's so many downfalls to it too. If it breaks, you've got to pay for it. If your software is out of date, you have to have it updated and pay for that as well. And if devices are upgraded within our system, probably every couple months. So you buy it and it's out of date for you within 6 to 8 months.
It's like your iPhone, right?
Yeah, it's exactly like your iPhone because it is exactly like your iPhone. Like I held on to it. I remember an iPhone 4 forever until it just didn't work anymore. But it didn't give me the proper security features or anything else that I would have had.
And by the time you figure out how to use it, it's out of date.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, sometimes it's always good to lease too, because then you have the service available, right? When you own it, then you've got to make an appointment or you have to troubleshoot yourself or. Yeah,
exactly. And that's it. And if anything happens with it, you can get it replaced. And if there's updates, we're going to keep updating. Like right now we're going through and getting legacy devices cleared out because they're just not safe for you to be processing on. And there's people like, I have one guy who he was duct taping his machine together.
What's his part?
It's
MacGyver.
So it really is worth your time just to lease it. It saves a lot of time. And then you get full tech support, you get customer support that's a little bit more in touch with your device and regular upgrades. And then with Moneris, we actually on site fixing too. So we have techs in the area in all over Canada, most areas of Canada, that will go out and help you with your device as well. So
welcome back.
The only downfall is yes, you do have a monthly fee. However, that monthly fee, if you look at what you're paying for flat rate pricing, if you're paying 3.4% plus 30 cents, if you did 100 transactions in a month, that 30 cents is now $30, and that would be roughly the cost of the device. So it's really
cost effective to lease.
It is.
Thank you.
So how to improve your profitability? So lowest interchange rates, fraud protection and liability for business, and increased tap limits. So you want to add all of these features to what you're doing. So you want to get the negotiated deal that's good for you with the processing company that you're dealing with. And you can ask for, you know, waive fees. You can ask, I hate saying this out loud. You can ask for waived fees. You can negotiate your interchange rates with the processing companies that do offer simplified pricing. And a lot of them are very competitive at this time too. So, you know, there's Clover, there's Global, there's a few others out there besides Moneris. And you can negotiate those fees with them. And if you have been with a company for quite a while and you want to do a switch, you usually can send your invoicing to other companies and have them take a look at it for comparison, and they'll offer you what they can. And I know with Moneris right now, if you were to send your invoicing into us and we couldn't beat it, we're offering you $1,000 to switch. So there's a lot of deals and incentives out there to get your business and try and have you come and stay with the company.
So it tailors to your business too, like you're negotiating, but you're negotiating based on the business's needs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And you know, there's there's so many different things you can do in negotiation as well. It's not just about the rates, like you can negotiate the price of your devices and what kind of device you're getting and the features on those devices as well. So you want to make sure that you're asking like so many questions of the rep who calls you, not just them asking you questions. You ask so many questions and see what they know. And if they don't know, then get them to find anything new. Don't just take the answer that they give you. Get them to dig in and really find out from their company what they can do for you. And ask them what's coming down the line too for solutions. Because you might buy into a solution that's fit for what you're doing right now. But if you are going to grow as a company and you're in the initial stages of what you're doing, you want to know that the solution that you bought or you're leasing right now or fixing to do right now is something that you're going to be able to move forward with growth, or you're going to have to look at something else in 3 months or 6 months or those kinds of things. And a lot of companies that do offer simplified pricing do have certain fees, like admin fees at the beginning for these things. However, those are negotiable as well. That one really hurt. And that you can negotiate those kinds of things too moving forward. Because, you know, salespeople do make money.
Of course, we're all in business.
Be kind to your local rep. So close batches too. So you want to know if it's a manual close batch or automatic close batch. Because if it's a manual close batch, you want to make sure every night that you're closing that off. Because if you don't close it off and then you call your company the next day and say, where's my money? It's going to be because you didn't close off your account. You didn't close it off to get those transactions processed. So when you're picking up key features of what you want to do for your devices that you have or the solutions that you have, an automatic batch is really a great thing. And then depending on the bank that you deal with too, that'll depend on when your money goes in as well. So with BMO and RBC being owners for Moneris, our money goes in right away. So if you close your batch at 4 in the morning, your money's usually in there by 4 in the afternoon the next day, kind of thing. It's in the very next day. And with RBC, they just started this in January, I believe, where it doesn't matter what day of the week you process it, if it's set holiday, your money goes in exactly the next day. So that's a key feature to kind of think about with different banks. If you are with Moneris and you bank with TD, let's say, we don't guarantee that it goes in the next day. It could take 2 to 3 days. It depends on TD at that point. Of course. Depends on whether we are working. Manual transactions, this is what we were talking about earlier. So anything that's keyed in manually that you punch in yourself, you want to have your customer as much as possible pay in person. So if you did the curbside pickup during COVID or still doing that now, you really want to have them come in the door and make that payment. You have to have something that's read by the terminal just to keep your fees down. not gonna overkill it.
No, I think that's the best tip you've got, like, it's just. Because it's a blind thing, we're so automatic, like instant, you know, get it done.
Yeah,
It makes total sense.
exactly. It's kind of like going to the parking lot. And rather than getting a proper ticket and putting it in you go, oh, and probably won't get one, then run to the lawyer's office. You got a big ticket, that happened to me about, well, but yeah, so it's kind of like that. That's how you have these things that are hidden costs that you're not gonna see. And if you don't ask the right questions and you don't get the right solution, then you end up paying for it. And unfortunately, you know, the world is what it is. You have good people and bad people. You have good reps and bad reps. And you got to find somebody you can work with who's going to give you all the information and make sure that they're doing what they do in your best interest. And that is working with a company as well that's working in your best interest. So whatever company you feel comfortable with, I highly recommend it there. But do whatever you need to. Or anyhow, when you have e-commerce as well, you want to consider the features that are on your e-commerce. So 3DS Secure is one. So it's more than the CVV code that's there on your card. 3DS Secure it's like little pings back and forth to the companies, very quick in like microseconds, checking to see if it's an actual card that's actually being used. And if that card has been reported stolen or lost, or if there's any other issues with it, or the information that's being filled out there is correct as well. So you want to make sure that those kind of features are on your e-commerce account. I would highly recommend too, for anyone who is e-commerce and is doing sales above 10,000 a month, that you look at what's called Count. Count is another security feature. It does cost a little bit extra each month, but man, is it worth it. If you have chargebacks, possibility of chargebacks, Count will limit those greatly. Chargebacks are $25 a piece or more, depending on the company you deal with. And if you are getting even 1 or 2 chargebacks in a month, that will more than cover the cost of on your e-commerce account and give you more and more security and keeping your money in your pocket. And that truly is the goal, right? Everybody wants to keep the money that you make in your pocket, but on these other companies. So this is just kind of different options for you. If you want to do, you know, you can reserve it online. I think of the downtown district when they had, I don't think they do it anymore, but they had the website that they had set up. You could order it online, but you had to call the store and go pick it up. Mm-hmm. And you could pay through online as well. You had to go pick it up down there. You're further ahead just to call the store, order what you wanted that you saw online, going down and pay for it that way. Much better setup, unless there was
one less step.
Yeah. Cut out as many middlemen as you possibly can. Anyhow, these are just kind of a breakdown of what a little graphic of what we were just talking about. So tap is the most secure way. Chip is the next most secure way, and like swiping or late presentations, those are not ideal. So that comes down to your device a little bit too. When we're talking about your device being older, you want to keep your device up to date, because if your tap's not working properly or if it's too slow and it won't work, get it fixed right away, because if you have to start swiping those cards, your rates are going to start going up as well.
How many times have we been in a store and, oh, the tap's not working today? So it's like ka-ching to the owner, right? The business owner. Oh dear. Yeah, exactly. So, you know, your card company just loves that, but you don't. So then this part here is all e-commerce. So card not present transactions basically are 3D secure. Make sure you have that. Digital wallets are good too, like Apple Pay, Google Pay, any of those are really great. And then the key and standard, just don't do it. Really, don't do it. It's kind of like that comparison, don't do drugs when we were kids, you know, don't do drugs, don't key in. Okay, so these are questions you should be asking your payment processor. So is there a contract, and is there a third-party contract on what you're doing? So basically, some companies, I won't name them, they have their devices that they have, but then there's a third party that has the software on that device. So you are going to be paying for
not only for that device, but you're gonna pay the software fees. Then when you go to cancel, you're gonna be paying them and the third party. So you wanna make sure that you are asking, is this your own software, your own proprietary property, or is this something else, somebody else's that I'm using? And companies can use, they'll have some devices that are like that and then some that are their own. So kind of figure out, usually a lot of them have multiple choices too. Are there fees to cancel my account? Those are kind of the big hidden costs that are out there. They can be called anything, restocking fees, admin fees, cancellation fees, whatever they're gonna be. Check and see if there are and what they are, and try negotiating those. Like if I don't like my account and I have to cancel, is it possible to negotiate the cancellation as well? Then these are the third party fees we're kind of talking about. So another third party fee off the top of my head would be data. So if you have a wireless device, you have a 4G wireless device, you want to know if you're going to end up paying extra data on that card, or is it included right in the beginning or included in the fees that you're paying. Value-added services. So value-added services could be dynamic currency conversion, which on certain devices it's available, some aren't. You can actually make money from that as a merchant. So how it works is that there's a 5% fee for anyone who comes in, especially in the county. If you are in the county doing hospitality, if someone comes into your store with an American card, so they're going to tap that card, you're going to get the fees for that card. But 1% of that fee, if you have DCC set on your device, actually goes back to you. So you want to kind of look at those kind of fees.
So you said if you have DCC?
Yeah, dynamic currency like conversion on your device. So I'm not in front, I have my computer, but it's not hooked up. I wish it, because there's different, it costs $195, I do believe, to set it up on your device, but you will get that money back. You can negotiate that price too. And it doesn't cost you anything monthly to have it on there, but you actually can make revenue back. And it is DCC. Other value services, gift cards. Is that gift card program implemented within your work off your device? So you can actually, with yours, we have a gift card program where you can design your card, have your own logo, everything on your card. And then that card can be processed through the device that you have. And if you have multiple locations, they can all be linked, so you can use them at all of your locations. So, and if, you know, let's say a downtown district or an organization or association, you could buy together collectively as an association and link all of your MDs together, MID, so merchant ID, all together, and use them that way as well. So, and they all have codes, so you can see when it was used and how much it was. You could track it too.
So like the kiosk that's in the Foodland, and it offers all, like from Boston Pizza all the way down to Apple.
Yeah.
That is revenue for Foodland
Yeah.
every time they're used.
Well, no, those go to the company. I think there's a sharing in
Okay.
that. Not really what we do at this time, but something we considered. It's just working out the logistics.
Okay, thank you.
And then, do you offer customer service or IT support? What are the hours? So you want to know, and am I going to talk to a real person when I call in, or if it's chatbot, or who it is? So you want to find out those kind of questions too. And nothing's worse than signing up for a service and then you have a problem with it, and you got to try and find who you're contacting, what the number is, and how that's going to happen. So Moneris does have 24/7 customer service and IT support, and we actually, as I said before, we do have in-field technicians that will come right out to your store.
And sorry, Michelle, how quickly will they come out to the store?
Usually, I found that they're pretty quick, like usually within 24 hours. Like if you're having a major meltdown, our tech department that we have on phone is really good at getting something done. And if you were like dire, didn't have a device and needed the next day, we have rush services as well. Like we process everything through UPS. So, you know, we do get them out as fast as we can.
Not saying it's perfect, because nothing is, but we do try to get on top of it as best we can.
Perfect, thank you.
So are you Canadian based or Canadian owned? That kind of go back to what you're saying. Moneris is the only Canadian owned company out there. And then Canadian based, you know, Lowell and Clover both have companies in Canada. Square has companies in Canada, but they're not Canadian owned. We offer consolidated deposit and fees. You can ask for that as well. So if you did bank with someone other than RBC or BMO with Moneris, we offer this service, and you can do it with any company out there. Ask them to consolidate your deposits and your fees, so you're paying less banking fees too. Because if you're paying upon every time you deposit, every time your fees come in, you want to consolidate those. You can make it daily, weekly, and monthly. I do believe is the option. And do you have an account manager? So do you have somebody who you can actually contact in that business and say, I'm having issues, what can you do to help me, and how do I get an answer today? Because nothing's worse than trying to get through a major corporation and not know you have to fight hours to get through, right? Bell Canada added my cell phone to my plan, and I didn't want it. I had to go back and try and get rid of it. It took 3 days and 10 hours each day on the phone trying to get someone to get it. So if you have an account manager in your company that you can actually call and say, or email or whatever, it's the best way to do business, because for us as well as you, because I can think of, I have a farm, a local farm here in Canada, or in Ontario, sorry, and she has 48 devices that she has go out every year. So those 48 devices, if she has a problem with them, she doesn't want to call in, she doesn't want to have to call, she just wants to order another device. And when her season's up, she wants to bring them all back. So she just messages me. It's like, okay, I'll take care of it. And then we get done. If I can't handle it, at least I can get her to a department quickly where she can get it figured out. So find somebody in that company that you're dealing with that you can contact. And and if they're leaving or moving on, find out who their buddy is, because they always have a buddy, they always have somebody who will pass their accounts. So you want to find out who that is.
I'm sorry, I have to interrupt. I have a 6-month-old at home and I just got called home.
Oh,
No, haven't morning.
Bad morning, having
It's an awful morning.
but you know what?
You woke up breathing. It's a great day.
What's your
Let's go with that instead.
What's your first name?
Sarah.
Sarah, I'm going to, Sarah, there you are, okay. I'm going to send you this whole, presentation and YouTube link, and so it's like you're here at still.
Yeah.
Thank you, drive safely.
But Sarah, my card's there too, if you want to grab it, and then you can have any
days, yeah.
follow up with me and be so the other question you want to ask is, I'm part of this association. Do I get preferred rates? So there's different associations out there that you might not even realize that you can be a part of to get better rates.
So like a community service group, or?
Yeah, there's so many.
I'm a member of the ODHA. I'm a member of CDHA. I'm a member of
Yes.
CDHO.
Okay.
Yeah.
OCP.
Yeah, so ODA has great rates for dentists, like fantastic. There's even a couple, I brought a couple with me. One is Integra. So Integra basically is for hospitality groups. So anybody who serves food, or if they're in school districts, retirement homes, anything like that, if you process payments, you can actually attach to the Integra rates, and your rates are phenomenal. So not all companies offer that kind of association rates. You have to check with them and see if they offer. And the other thing with association rates that's highly important is those rates are locked in for 3 to 5 years.
Wow.
So that means your rates aren't going anywhere. They're not going to go up in 6 months. They're not going to cut in, like, you're not going to have any changes. Those rates are locked in. And usually after 5 years, they're just renewed. Like, it's not like it's a big hassle unless something major's happen. They just renew those rates and you still continue on with those. I know there's one association we had within Moneris that we no longer deal with, but everybody who was on that plan, we haven't taken them off. They're still there. So even it's
grandfathered in.
Yes, it's just grandfathered in. It's, you get better rates, not only transactional rates, when you get better rates for your account service fees and your device fees as well. Like Integra, like I said, was hospitality. I can kind of give you an idea. So Integra's rates for the Moneris fee, which is usually about like 0.4, as it said there, is 0.12.
Wow.
And your assessment fee is 0.09. And then your rate for your interact change would be the same. But your device fees are down, and your account service fee, which is usually about anywhere from about $10 to about $15, depending, it could be higher when you locked in. You're $2.95 for this. So it's really worth it. And there's no setup fees. Your setup fees could be anywhere from $250 up to $500. These usually eliminate those setup fees unless, you know, a SIM card on a data card with Moneris is $75 for activation, and that's your unlimited SIM card. So you're not paying data fees going forward with that device. So there's all different kinds of benefits to doing that. So this one's come up a lot lately. Where's my information stored? So you want to know who's got your information, where it's stored, and what they're doing with it. And if they're from the States, they usually keep it in the States. And that doesn't mean you always have privacy when everything in the States is so different than here. The privacy laws are much different. Like you can look up people in the States and find out who their cousin and their neighbor are. Mm-hmm. And so you want to know what's going on with it and where it is. So we have a lot of municipalities that are with Moneris, and the reason for that is because our information is stored here in Canada.
Key point.
What are the credit requirements for setting up my account? So Moneris by far is so stringent, very stringent. You want your credit check in your firstborn to do this. But that being said, the reason that we are like that is because we are attached to 2 banks, and because we want to make sure that we're not having any issues with our reputation as well as yours moving forward. To me personally, I would rather be asked 20 questions, have a credit check done, and have all this information done and have to supply so much, because then I know that they're taking my business seriously. If I can go online and sign up for a company to manage my money, how comfortable are you doing that? Like, I know it's easy because you can go on Square, put in your name, put in your business, and you're processing the next day. Problem is that what happens if that company is no longer with you? What securities are in place for that? What kind of things are, your money may deposit in your bank the next day, but it takes anywhere from 48 hours to 30 days to process into that company. So if it doesn't go into that company from the credit card company, it's like a short-term lending kind of thing. You don't want to be on the hook for anything like that. Where your money's going, what happens, where anything goes. Anyhow, there's all of these factors that feed into that. My suggestion is just ask yourself, if it doesn't take me some time and they don't ask me a lot of questions to get me set up, is it really a great place to be holding all my cash where my livelihood is tied to that? Another thing is if they don't do credit requirements at the beginning, they sometimes will do them 4 to 6 months down the road. And if you don't meet those requirements at that time, they cut your account off right there, and you have no knowledge of it at the time. It's done quickly, and you don't have any feedback. All of those things are things to consider when you're setting up your accounts. Who do you partner with? Like we were talking about, there is some benefits to who you partner with, like deposit fees, preferred rates. We do give preferred rates to our RBC and BMO clients that come in. We do have a direct relationship with them. So you go in, if you don't want a credit check done and you bank at RBC, we can actually ask them for your information and get it shared. So there's certain benefits for sure for being with that. And when is my money going to be deposited into my account? We kind of covered that too. Depending on who you bank with, how often it goes in, that is exactly it. That's the end of it.
That's my favorite slide, Michelle.
That one?
Yeah. It's like you're the compass now. It's like, wow.
Yeah. So here you have all of your information. You can find everything. So my contact information is here. I work 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. On Monday to Friday in the call center. You can call me anytime. It's from home. So
don't look so nice, but. And you can hear my dog bark. But yeah, so give me a call when you want to have some information. You can email me, my email's there as well. And let me know. And if you have any questions or need anything, don't hesitate to ask. Does anybody have anything else?
I'm just gonna quickly
I
turn the
don't think
recording
I-
off now.
Do. Because. It's not my business, I'm working with someone else and we can come today. It's okay though, he can watch all this and I know he's working on something, I'm just not sure what it is he's done. 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. So there is.
But there's a lot of good information there. Really missed the boat when I started a business by not knowing all this was here to take advantage of, like the whole small business center and people like you who do this.
Yeah, there's so many things out there that, like, I know even when I did it, and I didn't put payments, thank goodness I went through the other company, but,